Right, that's the goal, to make it safer and push it back. So there's a lot of stuff we can do in terms of policy. Like on nuclear weapons, there's really only one treaty between Russia and the US left that limits the number of nuclear weapons, and that expires in 2025. So we've got to get some other safeguards in there that say we're not going to, enter a whole new arms race. I think we had something like 17,000 weapons each back in like the 80s, and now we're down to a couple thousand each. We don't want to go the other direction because then you just raise your risk of like something going wrong by chance. But we've also got to just calm down some of the hot spots. So the war in Ukraine, the conflict with Israel and Gaza right now, or between Israel and Iran, North Korea, Taiwan. Like there's lots of things that potentially could like boil over into disaster. So leaders have to, get back to the table, get back to diplomacy, just like we did in the Cold War, even though it was hard and even though we don't necessarily like the people on the other side. And like, what does that mean for like you and me who aren't, president or, Putin or whatever? If you look back at the 50s or the 60s or the 80s when we had other moments of really high tension, there were political leaders like Kennedy that like were really brave and went out there and led the way and forced diplomacy to happen. But there's also a lot more going on at the grassroots level of people, lobbying their local congressmen, going out for marches, writing op-eds, like showing the politicians that this is an important issue to us and forcing them to take the risk of doing diplomacy. Because what we've seen historically is it's a lot easier for politicians just to like keep things at a risky level and not stick their necks out than it is for them to step up. So we got to give them the political incentive to step up. And that's just the nuclear side. On stuff like climate change or like some of the technology issues, there's more we can do in our day to day to like reduce our own carbon footprint or, to make sure we're not spreading disinformation or misinformation online. But again, it's also just like putting political pressure on your elected leaders.